it is time to get to Deion Sanders' comments, which we don't say a lot. Hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Here we go. Deion Sanders talks about spring games, which every coach hates in its current format.
Yes, and I'm going to play the clip for you. Deion Sanders is Colorado spring game is going to be on ESPN2 April the 19th, and he says he's working to try to play another team for the game. Here's Deion's take.
Spring game will be televised. ESPN2 will broadcast spring game on the 19th. We got to sell this thing out and pack this thing because the way the trend is going, you never know if this is going to be the last spring game. I don't believe in that. I don't really want to condone that. I would like to play the spring. Actually, I like to play against another team in the spring. That's what I'm trying to do right now, to have it competitive. Playing against your own guys kind of get monotonous, and you really can't tell the level of your guys because, you know, it's the same old. Everybody kind of know each other towards the end. I would like to style it like the pros. I would like to practice against someone for a few days, then you have the spring game. And I think the public will be satisfied with that tremendously. I think it's a tremendous idea. Yeah, I've told those personnel who should understand that it's a tremendous idea.
First of all, I love the fact that Deion Sanders is an African-American wearing a cowboy hat in Colorado. There's something strange about that. You don't see African-Americans in cowboy hats, and you don't see a lot of cowboy hats, I wouldn't think, in Colorado. That's a Texas thing. Anyway.
Well, Colorado is the old West, though, outside of Denver.
Yeah,
particularly. So.
That's true, I guess. But I wonder if he takes that from his Cowboys days. But anyway, I still think that Jerry Jones wants him to be the head coach of the Cowboys. But Tennessee should totally take Deion Sanders up on this and say, we'll play you in a spring game. Let's do this. And for those in the message board, you know I love you, but don't think of this small. Don't think of Austin Peay. Don't think of MTSU. Think of Virginia Tech. Think of Clemson. Think of Georgia Tech. There's some history there if you go back to the old SEC. Or think of Colorado, something that's sexy. However you do it, just do it, because you have an opportunity to have a true event. You have an opportunity to be ahead of the curve. Now, the NCAA might step in and say, you can't do this without us condoning it. But really, it seems like Tennessee is able to sue the NCAA at any given moment and win. So why not sue them again? You're not allowed to make money on your spring game. Caleb, this would be absolutely huge. If you played Virginia Tech or Clemson or Georgia Tech, you would not just have 40,000 in there, as they're going to limit it to 40,000 this year. If you wanted, you would have 100,000 people in there. Amen, Nathaniel. North Carolina would be nice. I mean, why has this not been done? Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You've got two avenues here. You're at a crossroad. Right now, in March 2025, in 3 years, you're either going to play other teams or you're not going to have a spring game, because all the coaches absolutely hate it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. The coaches do absolutely hate it. I'm going to give a little more news before I give you my thoughts. Fran Brown, the Syracuse coach, who, by the way, was a candidate for coach of the year last year. He took Syracuse 10-3. He just tweeted at Deion, "We will come to Boulder for 3 days."
Yes.
Now,
yeah.
Think about, there are some drawbacks before we talk about the different ways to make the spring game work, but think about what Fran Brown is saying. Why did he say Boulder for 3 days, Dave? Because they want to recruit. They want Syracuse to come down and recruit the Colorado players. And in this era of transfer portal,
and he also sell to his prospects that you get to go get stoned as a bat legally.
That is true, which would actually help recruit for Colorado, funny enough. But then so here's the flaw with that. And here's the only problem. Colorado comes to Knoxville, Tennessee goes to Boulder, I don't know. You do it, you are going to have some fear of contact when it comes to recruiting in the transfer portal. Like what happens if Colorado comes to Knoxville and Deion starts talking directly to Tennessee players that maybe flirted with the transfer portal, i.e. Ricky Gibson.
Okay, well that is a very fair point. So you need to be particular about who you're picking, and that could be tough for Josh Heupel because I don't think he trusts his own mother. So that could be difficult. He's not a very trusting person, but you would have to think that he's got a relationship with. I would hate to see it stay in the SEC. I'd want to see it be somebody different. But just for instance, he has a relationship with Levy at Mississippi State, right? So he has to
Yeah.
have other relationships. I would want to go outside the SEC and do something outside the norm, but he has to have other relationships where he could do that. David throws it in there. I think this is a great point. It doesn't have to be a typical game. I have a scenario play 10-minute halves. First half is the first teams, and second half is the second team for each team. I don't listen. The final score doesn't really matter. It's just a way to get your guys juiced in the offseason.
I got something really fun. I got a really good idea, Dave.
Scares me.
Put some value on this.
NIL it. Oh, did I steal
Yes.
from you?
Yes, NIL it.
Yes.
NIL it. So here's what you do.
If you win, every player gets 50 grand.
I'd go a little bit further even, not just the players. The two schools they play on a neutral site because do you do a spring game? Like, who gets to host a spring game? Do you alternate? Do you do two spring games, one, or do you do neutral site?
I really like what the NFL does when you practice against other teams.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you have a scrimmage on Saturday. Now, there's not all the pomp and circumstance of a true game, but I wouldn't mind if I'm just throwing teams out there. If Georgia Tech and Tennessee practiced against each other for a week and then culminated with a spring game.
Okay, I could see that, but the question is where?
Chattanooga. No, I'm kidding. You can do it.
Okay, so that's what I mean. Neutral site. Neutral site it, NIL it. Here's how you do it. You're going to sell this thing to TV, right? They're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Are they not?
Oh, definitely.
You're going to sell tickets. The revenue from whatever you sell to the network and all the revenue, 100% of it, the ticket goes to the winning team. The ticket revenue goes to the players. The television network revenue goes to the school. So they both make some money that they can use to spend on players going forward. So they both benefit.
Let me throw this at you. What if, it's 35 degrees in Tennessee? What if you said to the Tennessee's players, we're going to go to South Florida, not South Florida, the area, South Florida, the school, and play Alex Golish? That's a recruiting area. Yes, Travis, you could go at Powell High School, and I would love that as an alum with my PhD, Powell High diploma. But I like my idea a little bit better. You go to Tampa for a week, and you make it almost like a bowl week. Because with the college football playoff, you don't really have a bowl week and all that pomp and circumstance anymore. This is a way the bowl committees could actually stay relevant.
I love this. Let's I wrote out hot or cold.
We've done a great job of fleshing this out.
Yeah, let's hot or cold the different ways we could do the spring game with a different team.
Okay.
I think that's better than the hot or cold I suggested earlier. So
okay. So what you're gonna pick the teams, or
I'll lay out the scenarios we just said, and then we'll talk if we're hot or cold on it.
Okay, go.
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Thank you. Go.
Wait, you're not going to give me the hot or cold element, man? I love the hot or cold element.
It coming in.
Oh, that's right. You did play it coming in. Okay.
Good Lord.
All right. First one. And we probably both disagree on this, but or we probably both are cold on this. Keep the spring game as is. Cold, right?
Cold. Because it's going away if they keep it like it is.
Okay. Second, a game against a no-name FCS school that would be your typical FCS game during the regular season.
No, I don't.
Cold.
I don't like that.
Okay. Traveling on the road to a mid-major that, like USF, that is a mid-major but is in a fertile recruiting ground for a spring game.
That's hot.
Yep, I'm on board with that.
Bowl games. Okay, how about this? First, two high-profile programs playing each other, and the winner gets NIL cash as an advantage.
30 seconds. I'll tell you what I think about that. Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Hot or cold?
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
What do you got, Caleb? Oh, no, you already said it. What was it?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Play a high-profile team, and you play for NIL.
That's
money.
hot.
That is hot. That is hot because here are the this is what's so great about this idea. And did I come up with it? Yeah, I think I did. That's why I love the idea. Caleb comes up with it as pure trash. No, I'm kidding. But Caleb has a lot of good ideas. As a matter of fact, he was ahead of the curve on the you should just throw the SEC tournament. Here's what I love about it. It motivates your second and third team more than it motivates your first team. Why? Because your first team's already getting paid. And we are talking about a lot of cash. What's 50,000 times 85? That'd be somewhere in the realm of, I believe, about 425,000. So,
which if you sell out a stadium, you're going to more than make up for that.
Yeah. So that's a significant amount for a second and third stringer. That's not a significant amount for James Pierce or Nico, but that would make those guys work harder. And maybe you even have an offensive and defensive MVP that gets $250,000. I love everything about this idea.
I'll take it further. Bowl games start agreeing to host these high-profile NIL games.
No, I said that earlier, that I firmly believe that bowl games should be involved because the bowl committees don't have anything to do anymore. Portions of the program.
I got one last one, and you tell me what you think about this. The game is the big part of the revenue. The day before the game. So we're talking Saturday's the spring game, right?
Yes.
Friday, you have skills challenges, and each school puts an individual out in a skills challenge. And for every skills challenge won, they get a little bit of NIL revenue for that player and for that school.
I love it. And especially if you have two different teams, because they'll show out. Listen, if you did a skills challenge right now, I've heard that suggestion. There's going to be a lot of guys that dog it. I'm just going to be really honest with you. I mean, they're not going to care. They're not, and they don't want to run the 40 necessarily because it could be held against them. And for those that don't know, you train for the 40. It's almost a different sport than football. So when they run a 4.3 or whatever, they're probably in football speed actually run a 4.5. But yeah, so I mean, your first two steps are supposed to be so long you almost fall down. You won't fall down in Sports Treasures because there's too many good things to prop you up. Carrying over 5 million Sports Treasures and so much more. Follow on Facebook for the best sports memorabilia, daily updates on Facebook. Sports Treasures TN on Facebook, right down below. Also, if you're in the shopping mode, we suggest Rick Terry Jewelry Design. I'll tell you more about Rick Terry and Rick Terry Jewelry Design as we get to 4 downs. And it's
real quick to wrap this up, though, before we get to 4 downs. Sorry, I just have to point this out. For Ann Brown at Syracuse, if they do play Colorado, though, just watching that game is going to give Tennessee a huge advantage watching Syracuse when they open the season against each other.
Why? Go vanilla. Are you telling me that they're not seeing some sort of practice tape already in this day?
I don't know. The way they're all being secret, it doesn't sound like it. But
I mean, Tennessee's is going to be on national television.